In this video, I'll cover everything about Netherlands, its geography, and the countries and seas that surround Netherlands. How many people live there, along with their religious views, age distribution, and ethnic background. The nation's economic power, its global trade, and the impact of tourism. What people typically eat in Netherlands for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and their food culture. And finally, we'll look at salaries, housing prices, and grocery prices, and basically everything you need to know about Netherlands. Let's get started. The Netherlands covers an area of about 41,500 square kilometers, making it the 134th largest country in the world. One of Europe's smaller nations by size. It shares land borders with Germany to the east and Belgium to the south, while the North Sea lies to the west and north, giving it a long coastline that has shaped its history of trade and maritime power. What makes the Netherlands truly remarkable is that around a third of its land lies below sea level. For centuries, the Dutch have fought the sea, building an extensive system of dikes, canals, and pumping stations to keep the water out. Without these man-made defenses, much of the country, or including major cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague, would be underwater. This unique relationship with water has also created the country's famous polders, areas of reclaimed land that are now home to farms, towns, and even airports like Amsterdam's Schiphol, which sits about 4 meters below sea level. The Netherlands is also known for its network of rivers, including the Rhine, Meuse, and Scheldt, which have long made it a gateway for European trade. The Netherlands has a population of about 18 million people in 2025, making it one of Europe's most densely populated countries and ranking roughly 71st in the world. Despite its small size, the population continues to grow slowly, largely thanks to immigration and relatively high life expectancy. About 78% of residents are ethnically Dutch. The remaining 22% includes Indonesian and Surinamese descendants, as well as immigrants from Turkey, Morocco, and other EU countries, reflecting the country's long history as a trading nation and colonial power. When it comes to age distribution, 16% are children, 63% are of working age, 21% are seniors aged 65 and over. Like much of Europe, the Netherlands has an aging population, but it balances this with strong social services and one of the highest life expectancies in the world, about 82 years. Religion in the Netherlands has shifted dramatically over the past century. Once a deeply Christian nation, split mainly between Protestants and Catholics, today around 55% of Dutch people identify as non-religious. About 20% are Catholic, 15% Protestant, and the rest follow Islam or other faiths. This secular outlook shapes Dutch society. Religion is often viewed more as a cultural heritage than a daily practice. Yet traditions like Christmas markets, Sinterklaas celebrations, and church festivals still remain a vibrant part of Dutch culture. The Netherlands has a GDP of around $1.2 trillion in 2024, making it one of the world's top 20 economies despite its relatively small size. It also ranks among the richest countries per capita, thanks to its long history of global trade and strategic location in Europe. A key engine of the Dutch economy is international trade and logistics. The port of Rotterdam is the largest seaport in Europe and one of the busiest in the world, serving as a vital gateway for goods moving between Europe and the rest of the globe. This prime location and world-class infrastructure have made the Netherlands a leading hub for distribution and global commerce. Agriculture is another powerhouse. Remarkably, the Netherlands is the second largest exporter of agricultural products in the world, from flowers and plants, especially the iconic Dutch tulips, to greenhouse-grown vegetables and dairy products. Dutch agriculture combines tradition with cutting-edge technology. The country is also home to major multinationals such as Philips, Electronics, ASML, Semiconductor Equipment, Heineken, Brewing, and Shell Energy. ASML in particular is critical to the global tech supply chain, producing the world's most advanced machines for manufacturing computer chips. In 2024, the Netherlands' exports reached about $1.03 trillion, placing it as the 6th largest exporter globally. The top export categories were machinery and electronics, 28%, agricultural and food products, 22%, chemicals and pharmaceuticals, 15%, petroleum and energy products, 10%. Imports totaled around $884 billion, making the Netherlands the 8th largest importer worldwide. Key import categories included energy, oil and gas, 20% industrial machinery and vehicles, 22% chemicals and pharmaceuticals, 12% food and raw materials, 8%. Tourism also plays a major role. The country welcomed about 20 million international visitors in 2024, placing it among Europe's top tourist destinations. Amsterdam's historic canal rings, the Van Gogh Museum, and the Anne Frank House attract millions every year. Each spring, the Keukenhof Gardens display over 7 million tulips, drawing flower lovers from all over the world, while the windmills of Kinderdijk and the vibrant nightlife of Amsterdam remain iconic highlights. Despite global challenges, the Netherlands maintains a highly diversified and resilient economy, powered by trade, agriculture, high-tech industries, and a tourism sector that continues to grow year after year. So, what about salaries in the Netherlands? In 2024, the national minimum wage in the country is around 2,070 euros per month for full-time workers aged 21 and over. Average monthly salaries are roughly 3,200 euros, but of course it varies a lot by profession. Teachers, around 2,800 euros, engineers, about 3,800 euros, doctors and dentists, roughly 6,000 to 7,000 euros, lawyers, around 5,000 euros, office workers, about 3,200 euros, police officers, roughly 3,000 euros, waiters and service workers, around 1,900 to 2,200 euros, software developers, typically 3,500 to 5,000 euros, depending on experience. The unemployment rate is low, hovering around 3.5%, which is below the EU average. The Netherlands also ranks high in work-life balance. Most people work around 36 hours per week, and part-time work is common, especially among parents. Dutch work culture values direct communication, flexibility, and efficiency. Unlike in some countries, staying late at the office is not a badge of honor. Leaving on time to pick up children or enjoy personal activities is perfectly normal. Cycling is a way of life. The country has more bicycles than people, and commuting by bike is part of everyday culture. The Netherlands might not be the first country that comes to mind when you think of world-famous cuisine, but Dutch food has a charm of its own. Simple, hearty, and perfectly suited to the country's cool, rainy climate. Traditional Dutch dishes reflect a history of farming, fishing, and trade. From the fresh seafood of the North Sea coast to the rich cheeses of the countryside, every region has its specialties. The Netherlands is internationally known for its cheeses. Gouda, Edam, and Leyden are just a few classics that have been exported for centuries. Seafood is another highlight. Herring, raw herring, is a must-try, often eaten with onions and pickles. And for a warm, filling meal, locals enjoy stamp pot, mashed potatoes mixed with vegetables like kale or sauerkraut, usually served with smoked sausage. Dutch cuisine also embraces a sweet tooth. Famous treats include stroopwafels, caramel-filled waffles, poffertjes, mini fluffy pancakes, and apple pie served with a dollop of whipped cream. Thanks to the Netherlands' colonial history, you'll also find Indonesian-inspired dishes like rijsttafel, a spread of small plates with rice and flavorful curries. Now let's take a look at what a typical Dutch person eats on a normal day. Breakfast in the Netherlands is simple but satisfying. Most people eat fresh bread topped with cheese, cold cuts, or even hagelslag, chocolate sprinkles that kids and adults love. Coffee, tea, or milk is the usual drink. Lunch is light and often similar to breakfast. Sandwiches, called broodjes, with cheese, ham, or peanut butter are common. Many people also grab a croquette or frikandel, deep-fried snacks, from a cafe or canteen. Dinner is the main meal and is typically served early, around 6 p.m. A traditional Dutch dinner might feature meat or fish, boiled or mashed potatoes, and vegetables, sometimes in the form of stamp pot. For dessert, many enjoy vla, a custard-like pudding, or fruit. So how much does it actually cost to live in the Netherlands? In Amsterdam, a one-bedroom apartment in the city center typically costs 1,500 to 3,400 euros per month, while outside the center prices drop to about 1,100 to 1,600 euros. In Rotterdam or The Hague, you'll usually pay 1,000 to 3,000 euros in the center and 800 to 2,000 euros outside. At a typical supermarket in Netherlands, here are some average prices. 1 liter of milk, 1.2 euros. euros. 1 kilo of rice, 2 euros. A dozen eggs, 3 euros. Apples, per kilo, 2.5 euros. Bananas, per kilo, 2 euros. Chicken, per kilo, 7 to 8 euros. Local bread, loaf, 1.5 to 2 euros. Bottle of Dutch or European wine, 5 to 10 euros. Alright, now you know a lot more about the Netherlands. Tell me in the comments which country you're watching from. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next country we explore. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.